Hi, welcome to the Recovery Daily Podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Abbasi. I am a grateful recovering alcoholic and stroke survivor. Welcome. I just woke up from a nap, and the topic today is going to be about relapse dreams. And I wanted to see if I could correlate that to my most recent dreams, which is about my head pain and my disability and everything. It's a new thing. I've been dealing with relapse dreams for like 8 years. And I've, in the beginning, I was definitely distressed, I guess, from relapse dreams. But I think I quickly moved past that, appreciating the fact that they're just dreams, and my mind is working it out, and somehow, however our brains work, and then eventually I was like, well, I guess if I'm dreaming, it's fine if I drink in my dreams. So this is like all of my different kind of processing I've done over the past 8 years about drinking dreams. And it's very normal for somebody who is in recovery to have drinking dreams. I have them all the time. And I always have. I've heard lots of other people come to meetings and they talk about their drinking dreams. There are some people like they have to share about their drinking dream because it's so unsettling to them. And we all deal with it differently. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that, and of course my newest bad dreams about my head and my stroke and all of that stuff. So, yeah, I think one thing that these relapse or drinking dreams make us question is our stability in recovery. I think it's definitely jarring to wake up and be like, did I drink or not? Depending on how vivid your dreams are. And I did that for sure. I dream a lot and they're very vivid. So I still remember lots of the drinking dreams that I've had over the years. And some of them, once I started accepting it, those drinking dreams sometimes were fun. And I didn't wake up distressed. There were times that I was in my dream and I acknowledged that I was dreaming, and it was okay for me to do whatever I was doing in my dream because I was just dreaming. So what's important, I think, is, and this is all my opinion, and not that that's not worth something. I've been doing this for a while, but I'm no medical professional. If I was, I would not be doing a podcast. So these drinking dreams don't necessarily signify a desire to relapse. And I needed to get past that it doesn't mean anything to me. There are all of these, like, what do our dreams mean, and so forth. I like to give them a little less weight than most people, I think, because what really matters is what I do when I'm awake, not what I do when I'm asleep. I think what happens when I'm sleeping is there's stuff that is that I'm holding on to, and it carries itself out in my dreams. So I wanted to reflect on some of that, that like deep-seated fear or the emotions, and unpack I guess what it means to have a drinking dream and how to navigate that, because it can be challenging for a lot of people. experiencing a drinking dream can be very unsettling. You may wake up with like your heart racing, feeling like you lost control over your sobriety, feeling like you've got to have a new sobriety date. But it's important to remember that the dream is just that. It's a dream. And it doesn't mean that you want to return to your old behaviors or that you're not doing well in your recovery. In fact, that fear and anxiety that these dreams cause or are a cause of are indicators to me that I am committed to staying sober. And they remind me of the stakes that are involved if I were to drink, and they reaffirm my desire to stay on the right path. If I wake up and I'm in a panic because I dreamt and I'm trying to ground myself and you know I guess identify that it was a dream and my sobriety date hasn't changed. If that feeling is unsettling to me, that means that I want to be sober. And when I wake and I'm disoriented, um, I can doubt all of that. But putting it in perspective, just because I dreamt about it doesn't mean that it's going to happen. To me, it's more likely that it's not going to happen because I just went through that fear, anxiety, and guilt of it happening. And that dream served for me as a reminder of how far I've come and highlight my commitment, as I said, because I am troubled by the idea or the thought of a relapse. These dreams are, to me, a window into my subconscious. There are times when, so every night before bed or before my podcast, really, my husband reads the news to me. It's our thing. We joke about it. Of course, we always at the end with the classic no news is good news with Gary Gnews, because of course nothing that he reads is good. But we find ways to talk about some of these things. We go through like tech news, health news, entertainment news, sports news, all of these things. And it's just something that he does. I don't know, something that we started doing, and I really like it. I don't know if he likes it, but I really like it. So hopefully it keeps happening. But there are times when he will read a story, and then that night I will dream about whatever that was that it's happening. And I think that it is just my mind processing stuff that I heard. Maybe the story elicited some sort of emotional response. And so when I go to sleep, it like tells the whole story. Some of them can be quite interesting to look back and see how my brain worked that out. But I think instead of ignoring, I don't ignore what I'm dreaming. I acknowledge them, and I like to figure out what triggered them, but I don't necessarily take a lot of time to search for a deep meaning in my dreams. I know that, like, as I was growing up, I remember hearing things like, what if you dream of a snake, or if you dream of flying, that kind of stuff, what it means. And That's fun to think about. I know there are lots of books on it and stuff, but I think more and more abandoned that and just acknowledge that my brain's just continuing to be active while I'm sleeping, and there's nothing wrong with that. But is there something that triggered it that is stressing me out, or if is a feeling of uncertainty? And understanding if there is a root cause will help me address that emotion while I'm awake. The quality of my sleep also impacts the type of dreams that I have. If I'm not getting enough sleep, or if my sleep is frequently interrupted, I might be more prone to having distressing dreams. So I do try every day to practice good sleep hygiene. I am successful some days and not successful most days, I think. I probably am not giving myself enough credit, but like last night, I I woke up at like 3 in the morning, and I don't recall anything being on my mind necessarily. I wasn't worried about anything. I just couldn't go back to sleep. That's really unusual for me. So that's why I set aside time to take a nap today. So as much as I strive for a full night's rest, I may just not achieve it because it just wasn't meant to be. But if I, create a peaceful bedtime routine, that helps me to want to go to bed. I do my like yoga stretches. I don't know if they're yoga stretches. They are part of yoga stretching, but they're also stuff that my the chiropractor I talked to you guys about. There were a couple stretches that he gave me that I do. I have my nightly prayer, and I have this like neck thing that I got that my sponsor um shared with me that she uses. So I lay down and put this thing back under my neck, and I just kind of lay there. I don't know if it does anything, but it feels good. So I look forward to those types of things, and I've found that I'm more likely to want to get up and go to bed if I have something that I do before bed that feels good, and stretching feels really good. I love stretching. So that helps me to get to bed a little earlier than I would have if I'm just gonna brush my teeth and hop into bed. Who wants to go in their room and brush their teeth? Nobody. Nobody wants to do that. Maybe somebody does, but that's not what brings me to bed. So limiting distractions before bed, journaling, meditating before bed, which I'll also put on a meditation quite often, clearing my mind before bed, all of that helps me to have a more restful night. I think that, as I've told you guys, the step 10 prayer that I practice before bed, where I'm just like, is there anybody that I owe an amends to? Was I angry with anyone? Did I say anything that was unkind to anybody? As I review my day like that, that also seems to leave behind stuff that I otherwise would take to bed, to my dreams. I've talked to you about putting my worries on my nightstand because they'll be there when I wake up in the morning. That helps me a lot. What does that mean? It's using my imagination, which I've talked to you about before too. All of this helps me to reduce the time awake, as I'm sitting there worrying or thinking about things, completing stories to myself that don't necessarily need to be completed. And I hope that this also allows me to have more peaceful dreams as well. It feels like I do. I certainly don't have the type of distressing dreams that I had when I was drinking. Um, so what do you do if you have a drinking dream? The most effective way to handle one of those drinking dreams is to talk about it. I go to my two meetings in the morning and at 7 a.m. and 8 a.m. And a lot of times people will come in and share that they had a drinking dream and what it was about. And just talking about it or putting it out in the open keeps it from being locked in your head and causing you, it can cause you that like ongoing distress when you don't talk about it. So talking about your dream with in a meeting with your sponsor or with a friend. There's a couple women that I worked with that we would come in and talk about some of our crazy dreams, because just like drinking dreams, I would have dreams about work. And some of them were just as distressing, honestly. So you might be surprised. This is the thing, when we started coming in and talking about our dreams, me and my coworkers, we found that we all had similar dreams, and sharing these experiences with each other was validating to all the lots of stuff that we would think, and it also nurtured our connection a little bit, reminding us that um we're not alone at work. And sometimes you need that at work also. um so by sharing about the dreams, it also disconnects that dream from your waking life, I believe. So, a dream does not dictate your behavior while you're awake. And in order to separate the two, I need to talk about it. I like to talk about it. And then what I'm dreaming doesn't affect how I behave in the morning. There have been times that I would come downstairs in the morning and tell my husband that I had a dream about him, that he cheated on me. And I have this dream all the time. I have it all the time. Again, it is just as unsettling as the drinking dream. But I used to come downstairs and I would treat him differently. I would be upset with him. And there was one time he was like, I told him what I dreamed, and he was like, I was here the whole time. And that was exactly the way that he needed to respond, because as uncomfortable as it makes me, it doesn't change reality. They are just these dreams are like movies that I created in my own head, and it's just in my mind. And um why did I have them? I don't know. And it doesn't really matter. I don't think that I'm having those dreams because of any reason other than I love him, and maybe I have some fear that that's going to end or something, it's easier for me and healthier for me to not take a lot of time trying to find meaning behind it, because then I'm connecting that movie that my mind wrote to reality and it's just not connected. I'm in control of how I react to these dreams, and that's how I choose to react. Um, so I've been having these dreams for about 5 years. I'm no expert, but I've been having them for 5 years. And what I haven't been having for 5 years that has just started creeping in are disability dreams, believe it or not. So, those of you who listen who have a disability or have had a stroke, some sort of trauma, medical event, just as a drinking dream, I think that these dreams about my disability and my head pain reflect my fears and my distress that I'm dealing with in present day. It it might be a way for my mind to process what's going on and the challenges that I face with having a disability. And I wouldn't say it's as unsettling as it is kind of depressing, you know? The one thing that I want is to be able to go to sleep and not deal with this, not have headaches in my dreams, be able to see right in my dreams. And now I'm starting to have dreams that I can't see well in my dreams, that I have dizziness, that I have head pain in my dreams. And that sucks. It sucks, but this is new to me. So I suspect that I can use the same tools that I learned in sobriety to navigate these experiences as well. Um, I can understand that although they are unsettling, I don't want to allow it to derail my progress with my mental well-being. I get really tired of having a headache. I get really tired of feeling dizzy and having my symptoms just get worse, get better, get worse, get better. It's important that I continue to talk about that and acknowledge that. That's why one of the reasons why I have this podcast, so that I can talk about um, how all of this is impacting me, my spiritual, emotional, and mental well-being. How is my physical health um, impacting my outlook? And I woke up from my nap and thought, I'm really tired of feeling this way. And I think it's because I dreamt about it and I wanted a break and I didn't get it. I dreamt about it. But I'm sure that I can turn these dreams into an opportunity to learn, an opportunity to help another person handle them. There are so many people who deal with this kind of dreaming about a trauma. And I think it's important to acknowledge that if we can't work something out on our own, to seek professional help. These dreams are not a sign of failure, but rather a reflection of the deep work that we're doing in recovery, whatever it is that you're recovering from. So I think my takeaway today is to talk about it. Yeah, I feel like it's that easy. Um, to talk about it, and that grounds us back into reality, um, reaffirms our commitment to recovery, and acknowledge that we do have the choice of how to respond to these types of things, these things that we can't control. And it seems like over time I have been able to start controlling my dreams. At least I know that I'm dreaming, it's so weird. The whole dreaming thing is so weird. But that's where I'm at today. So thanks for joining me on today's Recovery Daily podcast. I will talk to you tomorrow.